Hi, I'm Chef Keita. Welcome to Hunger Bites. Today I have a very special guest with me. This is Trish, Senior Manager of the Health and Wellness Department at the Food Bank of South Jersey. Thank you for joining me today, Trish.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
It is exciting. Trish and I work side by side in a lot of the programming at the Food Bank of South Jersey in the Health and Wellness Department. Trish, you know, I always talk about the Health and Wellness Department with my viewers. Can you kind of give a background of the Health and Wellness Department?
Sure. Yeah, the Health and Wellness Department started in about 2009, and it started off as an initiative. The food bank wanted to find different ways to help the families that we were serving find sustainable ways and creative ways to help them prepare the recipes that and the foods that they would get from the pantry. It started with one Cooking Matters for Kids class, and it blossomed. There was a great need, and people wanted to do the cooking classes and wanted to learn more. And we've now grown to over 13 curriculum for adults, teens, kids, you name it.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So just to pretty much sum that up, you know, the 4 counties that I always talk about we serve, Camden, Burlington, Gloucester, and Salem counties, we actually, did I say Salem twice? Camden, Burlington, Gloucester, and Salem. Yep. Camden, Burlington, Gloucester, and Salem counties. There you go. Those 4 counties that we do serve, we actually do go out and actually do nutrition lessons, cooking demonstrations. Trish runs a great program, and I actually got on board a little after Trish had started, not a little after, years after Trish had got started with the Health and Wellness Department. But, you know, some of the recipes that we do on this show are mimicking some of the recipes that we do out in the community. So I thank you, Trish, for leading us as a senior manager at the Health and Wellness Department, in the Health and Wellness Department at the Food Bank of South Jersey.
Yeah,
so thank you.
You were really the one to bring the, hardcore cooking element to it all, though.
Yeah. I mean, a little segue into, you know, how Trish and I really met. I was actually in dietetics school, which is like nutrition school, and I had a rotation there, and it was a community rotation. We hooked up with the food bank. I hooked up with the Food Bank of South Jersey. Trish was running a class. She was like, "Would you like to come with me?" And Trish and I had really never worked together at that point, but being in that class together, she started teaching about nutrition and the science behind food and things, and she really loved it and had a niche for that. And when it was time for the cooking part with participants, I went into the kitchen, and it was like 3 or 4 kitchens, and I'm over there with the students at this high school, and we had a great time, and we collaborated really well together. And Trish actually asked me if I would like to get paid to do what I naturally love to do. So, you know, thank you, Trish, for honestly giving me my opportunity that I have now, and to actually be on this show and host, you know, this show, Hunger Bites.
Yeah.
And speaking of cooking, we're actually going to cook 3 delicious recipes today. Our first one up is the breakfast rice pudding. So here we have some peaches. These are actually canned peaches, but feel free to use frozen peaches. Feel free to use any other fruit that you might have, strawberries, mangoes in this recipe. You will see the recipe on the screen, so you know that we have these peaches here. So I'm pouring those, oh, thank you, Trish. Pouring those in a bowl there. Rice, now this is brown rice. Why brown rice, Trish?
It's all about the whole grain and the fiber, right?
Yes.
So all of our dishes, we have oats, we have the brown rice, which contains a lot of fiber, and fiber is really important in your diet. It's actually a non-digestible carbohydrate, which people, want to stay away from carbs, but it's actually a really good carb. As it goes through, it grabs onto LDL cholesterol, that bad cholesterol, pulls it out, doesn't allow it to get into your bloodstream, and it gives your stomach a job to do. So your stomach is looking for, some work, and it takes longer to digest, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar, and it helps you feel fuller longer. So this is a really good breakfast to have. It'll keep you full all morning long.
And there's oftentimes some of our participants, they don't have cereal or oatmeal or things like that. So this rice recipe is actually a great way to use, especially in the mornings and things like that, for your breakfast for your children. Also, if you have leftover rice, how many people usually have leftover rice? I know I do. This is a great way to use those leftovers. I always talk about using our leftovers in the next day's meal, right? So we have some milk here. Feel free to use any milk you have. If you are almond milk, if you're soy milk, 1%. We do try to promote, having a less fat milk. It still has the same amount of calcium that your higher fat milks will have. So if you have a lower fat milk, that would be great. We have some cinnamon here. And if you could just smell it already, it smells delicious. And some brown sugar. Once you put all that together, looks similar to an oatmeal, right? But we are gonna bake this actually. And this is a good meal to kind of do like a prep. So you make the recipe, you can have it throughout the week, so you're not having to make a breakfast every day for the family. I'm just gonna spray my pan here. And then I will put the combination of rice and brown sugar, cinnamon, and things into my pan here. And I love a good crumb topping. And crumb topping, I'll take that, Trish.
Oh, you want this one for the crumb?
Excuse me, she has a brand new
I'm
clean
ready.
bowl for me. She's been ready, huh? So we have oats here. It's just regular oats. If you have oats at home, that's an easy way to make your crumb topping using oats. Have some butter here. You would want to make the butter room temperature, because the colder the butter, the harder it is to maneuver. I will get some gloves because I am going to put my hands in here and get all dirty with it, but the gloves help me to keep my hands nice and clean for you for later. So using my hands, getting in there, crumbling it up. Again, we have these oats, which is again fiber, a whole grain, things like that, which, Trish had mentioned in a second ago that it keeps you full longer. So it's another way to add that fiber into your diet, into your children's diet. And how many times have you had, made a breakfast and an hour later your children are like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, I'm still hungry. So this is a great way to keep them full longer and to have a delicious recipe with a lot of the stuff that you already have in your pantry. So once we add the oat topping, we do have our oven preheated to 350, and we will bake this for about 30 minutes. What you want to do is make sure that the milk is actually absorbed into the rice, and it will get there. So if it doesn't happen in 35 minutes, extend your time for a little longer and you'll be fine. So I'm gonna put this in the oven. Actually, I'm gonna switch it over to Trish. She's gonna actually make you a tasty recipe.
And everything I've learned from Marquita. So, very similar recipe. This is more of a peach crumble, kind of like an apple crisp, but made with peaches. And we did use canned and frozen peaches in this recipe. So taking the peaches, and we're gonna take a tablespoon of orange juice, put that in there, sweeten it up a little, and the vanilla. So all the liquids go in. I'm just gonna.
Vanilla makes everything taste better, right?
You can smell it. It's really smells delicious.
It really does.
All right.
One day we'll have smell-o-vision.
Yeah, smell-o-vision. It'll be perfect. See all these techniques, these good things I've learned from you, Marquita. And taking this mixture, I'm gonna put it into the pan. And then I am also gonna make a crumble for this one. And it does have, again, the oats. And this has a little bit of flour. That'll help to bind it up a little bit. And then the brown sugar. And then I've gotta grab that butter over here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do as the chef does. I'm gonna dig in with my hands.
It's always the best method to me, is digging in with your hands,
Yes.
getting the texture, and especially because you want the butter to really be evenly distributed amongst your oats and your flour and things.
Yeah, and you can feel it. It starts to get that crumbly texture that you want. There. All right. And then we're gonna take that and put that topping on top. And this one is also gonna get popped in the oven.
Nice.
Right. I'm looking forward to the next recipe too.
Oh,
Next one's a fun one.
The next one is a fun one, guys.
Oh,
I'm gonna let Trish kind of finish up with this one. She's gonna pop it in the oven. Of course, 350 is already preheated too, so she's just gonna pop that one in the oven, and I will make this recipe here. So this is our chickpea chocolate chip cookie recipe. I said it slow because if you can imagine, that's a tongue twister, right? Chickpea chocolate chip cookies. So we use chickpeas a lot. I think chickpeas is probably the most versatile bean that you can have because you can do anything with it. You know, on another episode I had made the no chicken salad with the chickpeas. They're really versatile. You can make brownies out of them. You can make cookies out of them. A lot of different things you can make with the chickpeas. So I love the chickpea. Any other thing you want to talk about with the chickpea?
It can be a savory dish. It can be a sweet dish like this. We do different style hummuses with it. It is very versatile. It is an item that's often featured in our pantries. And, you know, the participants are looking for ways to use these chickpeas. So Kit has come up with a lot of great recipes for them.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, so I have our chickpeas here, just 1 can of chickpeas. I did rinse them. Rinsing them reduces that sodium off of your beans. You want to rinse a lot of your canned products if you can. Rinsing them, like I say, reduces that sodium. Sodium means salt. So if you're looking to have a low salt, lower your salt in that canned product, you do want to rinse them with cold water really good, and just drain them, and then you have your nice chickpeas here. You can also buy reduced sodium or low sodium, no salt canned products, but if you just so happen to have a can that has the sodium, even if you do have a reduced sodium or low sodium, you still want to rinse your canned items off. So we have the canned chickpeas that I just threw in there. I do have a masher. Like I say all the time, feel free to use your hand. If you want to use your hands to mash your chickpeas, all you're doing is really popping them. They're very soft already, being canned, so it doesn't take too much effort. Another thing you can do is put it into your food processor, your mixer, and actually mix up your chickpeas here.
And this is taking the place of flour in the recipe, right?
Yes,
right?
It is. This is a gluten-free. Matter of fact, all of our recipes on today's show are gluten-free. So if you do have a sensitivity to flour, if you, celiac disease, things like that, you can use these recipes. And who doesn't like chocolate chips, right? Who doesn't like chocolate? And sometimes you can't always seem to find a good recipe to have those chocolate chips or that chocolate craving that you might have.
Yeah, without it being too terrible for you. So
yes.
This is actually
and these are actually tasty. Healthy and tasty. Yes. So we have peanut butter here. If you have a nut allergy, I advise, try to look for soy butter. You can also omit the butter if you would like. The peanut butter if you would like. But this is some peanut butter we have here. Then we have some maple syrup. This is our sweetener that's going to be into the cookies here. Any syrup will do. If you have a light syrup, taking some of that sugar out of there would be nice. We have some vanilla. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, baking soda, and a smidget of salt. And I always try to promote the kosher salt, but honestly, you want to use your table salt for this recipe because it does have the iodine in it, and the iodine helps with the baking process. So we will stir all this together. Of course, I wish you guys could smell this at home because it smells divine.
Well, when all this is baking, it smells so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually prepped this yesterday at the Food Bank of South Jersey, and people's noses were just taking them to our kitchen at the food bank because of the smell. The peanut butter, the sweet smell of the chocolate chips and things. And if you notice, it looks just like your traditional cookie that you would make at home, right? And of course, we have to add the chocolate chips. Now you see the ingredients, how much chocolate chips you would need, but of course, if you want to do a little more, I wouldn't blame you. Chocolate chips are very good. I'm a chocolate lover. I know our friend here, Trish, she's a chocolate lover.
Can't deny it.
And it's, it's always in moderation. I'm not telling you to eat, chocolate 24/7, but if you're desperately making a cookie like this, it's I'll definitely say, go ahead and do it. Now, I do use an ice cream scooper. I tend to realize that an ice cream scooper seems to be a little easier to get that dough and to put it on your baking sheet. So just take your ice cream scooper.
Gives you nice even scoops too, so it cooks evenly.
Yeah. So tell me more about Health and Wellness Department, Trish. Like, how did you get started with the Health and Wellness Department?
Our stories are very similar. So in the dietetics program, again, doing a community rotation, discovered the food bank and this programming and fell in love with it. It's an amazing program and our team works so well. And I always say we're the yin and yang. I could teach nutrition all day and Keita could cook all day. So
yes, definitely could.
Yeah. And if anybody out there is interested in our classes or even have a site or a group of people that would be interested, you can visit foodbanksj.org and visit our health and wellness page. It'll show you all the classes that we offer. They're all free. We're a grant-funded department, so everything is free to the participants in those 4 counties that we serve. So.
Yes. And we do get a great feedback from our programs because, like I say, we're using foods that are commonly distributed at a pantry. So, things that you can really, get for cheap, even if you go to a grocery store. I find myself, now that I teach so much of the curriculum, going to the grocery store and actually buying canned products. I was just telling Trish yesterday, I needed some vegetables the other night. I looked in my freezer, didn't really have anything. Looked in my refrigerator, didn't have anything fresh for a vegetable. And I remembered I had canned green beans, and I used my canned green beans that night for dinner, and it's okay. I think a lot of times people have a stigma of using canned products or frozen or fresh, but honestly, there are times that you need to use, or you can use those other alternatives, especially if they're not in season. If something's not in season, buy it frozen, buy it canned, and things like that, and then you'll be sure that you're limiting those pesticides and things like that from the truck coming all the way over from some other area of the country where it's maybe hotter and actually producing those kind of things.
Yeah, and dispelling the myth that canned produce is just as nutritious as fresh and or frozen. So
yeah,
it's a great option.
So we have our cookies here. I will place them in the oven and let those bake. Honestly, you want to keep an eye on your cookies. You can start it out at about a good 10 minutes, but after that you do want to keep an eye on them. They should be kind of soft, and it's funny because I don't know anybody that likes a really good crispy cookie. They usually like a nice soft chewy cookie, and this recipe will always give you that chewy soft cookie.
They're delicious.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna try all these recipes, and I'll see if I can squeeze just one more recipe in for you guys. I'll see you soon.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hippity hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hippity hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches. Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey. Plan your New Jersey trip at visitnj.org. Waves of fun. Nights of excitement. And a trail of memories. Now that's New Jersey.
plus this equals this, plus this, and this. Don't drink and drive.
Hi, welcome back. I just wanted to mention that we do have our fruit infused water here. Feel free to use any fruit you have left over. I actually put blueberries in here, cranberries, we have some strawberries, and mint. Mint is just, I don't know what it is about mint in any type of beverage that actually brings a refreshing calm to that beverage. So I'm gonna serve our Tricia, I like to call her Tricia. Nutrition and Tricia, right? Tricia, some delicious infused water.
I can smell it. It smells very berry and minty.
It does smell very.
Cheers.
Very, ooh.
Refreshing.
Very refreshing. I always like to promote the infused water for those that need more water in their everyday lives but don't like the taste of water. So if you don't like the taste of water, flavor it with fruit, mint, cucumbers, things like that you already really have in your refrigerator. And that way that you can get that water that you need. How much water do you think people need, or do you know how much water?
On average, about 8 cups a day.
8
it's
cups.
A lot. I think we're chronically dehydrated.
Yes,
but
yes.
this is a really flavorful way.
Yes.
And you can add seltzer water if you like the fizziness of a soda. Adding seltzer water, give it a little fizz.
Yeah, give a little fizz, right? So I'm plating up here. We have our breakfast rice pudding, right? Breakfast rice pudding with the peaches in there. I have the chickpea. Goodness gracious, I have the chickpea chocolate chip cookie. I told you guys I was gonna mess that one up. The chickpea chocolate chip cookie, and then the fruit crumble. And all three of these we will try. Here you go. Let me get you a fork here.
Thank you.
And I do believe that these cookies are just divine. I could eat this whole tray in one sitting if I didn't have control, but I do have a little bit of control to not do that. And then, like I said, these dishes are really good for meal prepping. So if you make this, look at this big old pan that we made, and you can have it for the week. So if your kids wake up and they're starving, or if you wake up and you're hungry, just pop this in the microwave now that you've cooked it, and it's good for a good week.
All right, what are you trying first?
I'm gonna try the breakfast rice pudding first.
Add the crumble.
You know what's funny? I really love peach cobbler. It's by far my favorite dessert. But this right here tastes as good as the peach cobbler, and if not better. The cinnamon, the brown sugar, the peaches, they're baked, they're nice and soft. I would love to have this for any breakfast. And again, it has that brown rice, it has those oats for that fiber content. So yes, this is definitely a really delicious dish. Did you get to try it?
I did. And what a great way, again, like you said, when you have leftover rice where you think it would be in a savory dish, to put it in a sweet dish like this, and it's delicious.
And I don't think anyone will know the difference between, the oatmeal, the cream of wheat, those kind of breakfast cereals. This, delicious. I did try the crumble, and again, delicious, nice peachy flavor. I'm a big advocate of peaches. I love, love, love peaches. But like I said, you can always add whatever fruit you like. Apples would be great in this. Apples are always in season, so you can always add apples to this. And now we'll try the.
I'm already in on that cookie.
I heard that confirms the cookie. Tricia has tried the cookie, guys.
Yes, it is. It's delicious. It's like a chocolate peanut butter cookie, but in a healthy version. And it is. It's chewy and it's sweet and.
Very delicious. Very delicious. And we wash it down with our.
I'm still eating a cookie.
Our infused water. But yes, the chocolate chip, the chickpea chocolate chip cookie, It's always a go-to. Again, it's gluten-free, so if you have people that have a sensitivity to flour and gluten and things like that, then feel free to use this recipe. And let me know. Let me know at home. If you guys do try this at home, let me know. Let me know how you feel about these recipes. If they are tasty, if your kids like them, how maybe your pickiest eater, how they enjoy them. So I think we wrapped up for today.
Yes.
I've enjoyed your company. I hope you can come back and visit us on the Hunger Bites show again.
Of course.
And how would I know you had mentioned it earlier, but just to mention to our viewers again, how can they get involved with some of the free classes that we do offer in the Health and Wellness Department?
Yeah, so again, going to foodbanksj.org and visit our Health and Wellness page, and there you'll find opportunities to take our cooking classes and opportunities to host a cooking class as well.
Yeah, so if you have a site that can, you have some participants at the site and they would like a nutrition class, a cooking class, things like that. We have a slew of classes. You said 13, right?
Yeah, 13 different
13 different curriculums that you can search on foodbanksj.org in our Health and Wellness Department. And also, as you know, we are looking for donations. $1 donation to foodbanksj.org will give 3 meals to a deserving participant in those counties that I talked about earlier: Burlington County, Camden County, Salem, and Gloucester County. So $1 for 3 meals. So $1 equals 3 meals that one of the participants will be able to benefit from. So I thank you for joining us on Hunger Bites, because quite frankly, hunger bites. See you next time.